Hello friends, in the last session we have seen electric field intensity due to surface charge distribution. We have also seen the electric field intensity due to line charge distribution. In the today's session we will see the electric flux, then we will see Gauss law, and we are going to see the applications of Gauss law. So we'll start today's session. So electric flux, it is denoted by the symbol psi. Now consider the situation. So this is the first sphere having radius a, and consider the second sphere, that is having radius b. So this is called as the inner sphere and this is the outer sphere. Assume inner sphere is charged sphere. So the charge present on the inner sphere, it is considered plus q. Now outer sphere, it is earth, because if there is any charges initially present, it can be removed. So in order to remove it, it is earthed, means it is grounded. Now the inner sphere was removed. The outer sphere, it is chargeless initially, but after the removing of the inner sphere, the charge remaining on the outer sphere, it is measured. So this charge was found to be equal and opposite to that of the charge present in the inner sphere. Means for the inner sphere, charge present was plus q. Now for the outer sphere, we will get the charge as minus. So this charge was found to be equal and opposite in magnitude. So there is no any electrical connection between these two spheres, inner sphere and outer sphere, but still the charge is flown from the inner sphere to the outer sphere. So how the charge is developed on the outer sphere? This is the big question. So while doing the analysis, it is found out that there must be some electrical displacement taking place from the inner sphere to the outer sphere. So this electrical displacement from inner sphere to outer sphere to the medium. So you can observe the medium present here. So either it is insulating medium or dielectric material. So this displacement is called as the electrical flux. So flux is simply displacement of charge from one body to the second body. So it depends on the amount of charge present. It is denoted by the symbol psi, and it is observed that the this electrical flux, it is equal to the number of charges present on the surface. So psi is equal to q. Now we'll see electric flux density. So electric flux density, it is defined as the flux per unit area. So as per definition, so flux density, it is equal to flux or total charge divided by the total area. Now why it is required to use this term flux density? Because if you consider in the previous diagram, for the inner sphere, so if you want to calculate the electrical flux given out by that inner sphere, so it will be what? Q upon 4 pi r square. Now r in that case, it is a. Therefore it will be d1, it is equal to q upon 4 pi a square. Similarly for outer sphere, you can write that density as d2, so it will be equal to psi or q divided by 4 pi b square. Now why it is required to define like this? Consider the point from that charge q1 at a distance r1. So what is the flux given for that r1? It is also q1, and suppose the distance is r2 now for charge q1. So the flux given will be what? Again it is q1. So we cannot differentiate for the charge what is the flux given from that charge. So to differentiate, we are going to consider the area. For how much area we are going to get that flux? So it is divided by that area, means we are calculating flux per unit area, means it is flux density. So to differentiate how much flux we are getting from the same charge at a different distance, so that can be differentiated using the term flux density. So you can observe this d1 and d2. So in general it can be written as d as the flux density or electrical field density, So it is d equal to psi upon 4 pi r square, where capital R is the distance of point from the given charge. Now the relation between electric field intensity and electric field density, we will see this point now. So electric field intensity due to point charge, it is given by this equation. So this already we have seen. So E equal to Q upon 4 pi epsilon r square AR bar. Now just we have seen the electric flux density equation. So that is given by D equal to Q upon 4 pi r square AR bar. Now if you observe these two equations carefully, so after doing the comparison of above two equations, we can write D equal to epsilon E, means field density, it is equal to permittivity into electric field intensity. So for free space, this epsilon is equal to epsilon naught. Therefore, for free space, we can write D is equal to epsilon naught E. So this is the relation between E and D. Now we can list all these equations: electric field intensity and electric field density for point charge, for line charge, and for surface charge. Now due to point charge Q, electric field intensity is Q upon 4 pi epsilon r square AR bar, and due to point charge Q, electric field density, it is equal to Q upon 4 pi r square AR bar. Similarly, due to line charge, electric field intensity, it is equal to rho L upon 2 pi epsilon naught r AR bar, and electric field density D, it is equal to rho L upon 2 pi r AR bar. For the surface charge density rho S, electric field intensity, it is given by rho S upon twice epsilon naught AN bar. Then electric field density D, so please correct here, it is D. So D equal to rho S upon 2 AN bar. So in this way, you can write the equations for E and D for different charge configurations. Now we'll see most important law, that is Gauss law for electric field. So this law states that the electric flux passing through any closed surface, it is equal to the total charge enclosed by that surface. So let's consider this is the any closed surface. So if this closed surface is going to contain q number of charges, then the total flux given out by this entire enclosed body, it is q number of charge, means flux, it is equal to the total number of charge contained by that closed body. Consider this closed body. Let positive charge q is enclosed by this closed body. Now at any random point P, so let this is the point P, and differential element of surface ds is kept or considered. So for point P, we are going to consider a small surface area, that is ds. Let the field density is making an angle theta with respect to this ds. So how this angle is mentioned here? So consider this is the surface ds. So this surface is having its normal direction. So let this is the normal direction. Similarly, the field density given out by this small area, so let this is the d. So this d is making an angle with to that normal ds. So let that angle is theta. So the flux crossing through this small surface area ds, it is given by d psi. D psi indicates that flux given out by this small body, it is a part of that total flux. So therefore it is a d psi. So d psi will be what? It is calculated by the normal flux density given out by this body. So it is d normal into how much it is going to give? It is going to give up to ds. So d normal into ds. So if you calculate the normal component of that d, so it will come as d cos theta. it is multiplied by ds. So d cos theta into area ds. So as per the definition of dot product, we can write this entire equation as d bar dot ds bar. If you simplify this d bar dot ds bar, we will get d ds cos theta. So d psi it is equal to d bar dot ds bar. Now this is the small flux given out by that small area ds. Now the total flux crossing through that closed surface, it is equal to total flux psi, it is equal to closed loop integration of d psi. So closed loop integration of, now what is d psi? It is d bar dot ds bar. So closed loop integration of d bar dot ds bar, it is equal to total number of charge enclosed by that surface q. So this is the Gauss law. It says that total electric flux given out by any closed surface, it is equal to the total number of charges enclosed by that surface. Now we'll see the proof of this Gauss law. So for that, you consider a positive charge q, which is situated at the center of a sphere having radius r equal to a. So this is the surface from that sphere having radius as a. So let ds be the any small area. So let this is the ds, small area ds, and electric flux density d is the flux density present in this area ds. Now we can observe the directions of ds and that flux density d. So here it is shown as capital ds, and the normal to the surface area vector, it is given as ds bar. Now the differential element of area on a spherical surface in the spherical coordinate system, so that area ds can be written as r square sine theta d theta d phi. So why it is written as r square sine theta d theta d phi? Because it is written for r constant. So this surface is going to lie on the sphere itself. So onto the surface r is going to remain constant. So for r constant, area ds it is equal to r square sine theta d theta d phi. Now here we assume that radius is a, therefore it will become a square sine theta d theta d phi. So in short, we can write ds as a square sine theta d theta d phi. Now we are going to calculate the flux given out by this small body ds, small surface area ds. So it is ds, capital ds into area ds. So capital ds it is q upon 4 pi r square. Now r is equal to a, therefore it is q upon 4 pi a square into area ds, it is a square sine theta d theta d phi. Now all this it is along ar, so ar dot ar, so it is going to become ar dot ar as 1. Now if you simplify this product, so this will become, here a square will get cancelled, so what remains, q upon 4 pi sine theta d theta d phi. Now this is the small flux given out by this small area. So if you want to calculate the total flux given out by that closed surface, so that will be integration of this flux. So now it is a surface integral, therefore this surface integral will be evaluated as double integral. So it is double integration. So first integration is with respect to phi and second integration is with respect to theta. Now for spherical coordinate system, phi varies from 0 to 2 pi and theta varies from 0 to pi. Now it is integration of sine theta d theta d phi. Now to simplify this integration, so integration of d phi is phi and the limit is 0 to 2 pi. So it will become, if you simplify this, it will become 2 pi into q upon 4 pi integration of sin theta d theta. Now if you simplify this integration of sin theta d theta, so integration of sin theta is minus cos theta and limit it is from 0 to pi. So it will become q upon 4 pi into 2 pi into minus cos theta, and the limit is from 0 to pi. If you simplify this, you will get final answer as q upon 2 pi into 2 pi, so that 2 pi will get cancelled and what remains? Only charge term q plus q charge. Clear? So this is the proof of Gauss law. It says that closed loop integration of d bar dot ds bar, it is equal to the total charge present inside that closed body q. So in general, the charge can be expressed in terms of volume charge density because it is the closed surface or closed body. So for that closed body, we can write the volume charge density for that. So in general, it can be written as total charge q, it is equal to volume integration rho v dv. So it can be written as close integration of d bar dot ds bar, it is equal to total charge q, and total charge q, it is equal to volume integration of rho v dv. Now as it is a volume integration, means it is triple integration. Now we'll see the applications of Gauss law. So applications of Gauss law, only one application for the Gauss law is there. It is used to calculate the field density D. So Gauss law is used to calculate the capital D value, that is electric field density value. So it can be calculated for different charge configuration. So first we will see for point charge. So consider a point charge Q. It is located at the origin. Now to determine the D, that is electric field density at point P. So let this is the point P, which is kept at a distance r from this origin. So it is easy to see that choosing a spherical surface containing P will satisfy the symmetric condition. So the spherical surface centered at the origin is the Gaussian surface in this case, which is shown in this diagram. Now that charge is going to give flux in every direction. So D is everywhere normal to the that spherical surface. So D, it is equal to dr ar, means that electric field density is having only r component. So applying the Gauss law, we can write q, it is equal to closed loop integration of d bar dot ds bar. So this is the Gauss law. Now we can simplify the right hand side equation, this closed loop integration d bar dot ds bar. So d, it is in r direction, so we'll get, or we'll write it outside of that integration. So dr, what remains inside the integration? Ds. So dr closed loop integration ds. Now closed loop integration ds, it is equal to 4 pi r square because it is the area of that sphere. So if you simplify that, it is double integration of r square sin theta d phi. To solve this for theta variation from 0 to pi and phi variation from 0 to 2 pi, if you simplify that, you will get that area answer as 4 pi r square. So q, it is equal to dr 4 pi r square. Now our intention is to calculate d, so we can write this 4 pi r square to the left side. So this equation will become as, so instead of dr, we can write here it is d, it is equal to q upon 4 pi r square ar. So this is the equation of electric field density or electric flux density due to point charge. The same we are used many times. So this we have seen. Now here we have done the reversing. Now The same D can be calculated for infinite line charge configuration. So we can consider this line charge which is kept along z axis, and the density, line charge density value, it is rho L, and you can consider this cylinder kept along this line charge vertically likewise as shown in this figure. So the length of this cylinder, it is L, and the point on the surface of this sphere cylinder, it is assumed as P here, point P. The total charge present in this line charge, it is Q. So total charge can be written as line charge density rho L into total length L. So Q, it is equal to rho L into L. It is equal to integration, closed loop integration of d bar dot ds bar. Now d is going to remain along the radius, means it is normal to the cylindrical surface. So we are going to consider that as a dr, closed loop integration ds. Now for this cylinder, we are going to calculate the ds, integration ds. So what is the area for this cylinder? So it can be calculated considering this cylinder. So the height of this cylinder is L, and perimeter of this cylinder, it is now 2 pi r. So perimeter or circumference of this circle, it is 2 pi r. How long this 2 pi r will go? It will go L times. So the total area, it is 2 pi r into L. Rho L into L, it is equal to dr into 2 pi rho L. Now if you simplify this, means if you get, or if you write this 2 pi rho L toward this left side, and if you simplify this, you will get d in r direction. So it is written as capital D equal to rho L upon 2 pi r a r bar. Now the electric field intensity for the line charge we derived as rho L upon 2 pi epsilon naught r a r bar. Neglect the epsilon naught term from that, we will get that equation as d is equal to rho L upon 2 pi r a r bar. Similarly, we will see electric field density due to infinite sheet of charge. So assume this the surface. So consider this surface having charge density rho s, which is kept on the z equal to 0 plane, that is xy plane as shown in this figure. Now to determine the d at point P, so this is the point P. So at point P, we are going to calculate the electric field density because of this surface charge distribution. Clear? So we choose a rectangular box that is cut symmetrically by sheet of charge and has two of its faces parallel to the this given sheet of charge as shown in this figure. So as capital D is normal to this surface or charge sheet, so it can be written as D equal to dz az. So by applying the Gauss law, we can write total charge Q, it is equal to rho s integration ds, it is equal to closed loop integration of d bar dot ds bar. Now d we assumed in the z direction, therefore dz in bracket integration of ds. Now from this diagram, you can observe this box here. So it is having two surfaces, one surface at the top side and one surface at the bottom side. Therefore this closed loop integration ds can be resolved into two. Likewise, integration of ds for top side plus integration of ds for bottom side. Now for the top side, this integration of ds, it is assumed the area A, and for the bottom side the area is assumed as A. So after simplification we can write rho s into integration ds. Now integration ds is capital A, means total area. So rho s into A, it is equal to dz in bracket this top side area A plus bottom side area A. So this is rho s into A in bracket 2A into dz. Now if you write the only dz from this equation, means you can take this twice A at the left hand side. So this will become d equal to rho s upon 2. Now it is along z direction, therefore Az bar. So the same we have observed for the electric field intensity due to surface charge. So that can be given as rho s upon twice epsilon naught Az bar. Now electric field density can be calculated for sphere of radius a with uniform charge density rho v as shown in this figure. So first case means this is the sphere having radius a and the point is inside the sphere, and the second case where this sphere is having radius a and point is outside of that sphere. So let this is the r where r is greater than a, and in the first case r is less than a. Now we are going to calculate the field density or flux density for these two situations. So for r less than a, the total charge enclosed by the sphere, it is given by total charge enclosed, it is equal to volume integration rho v dv. So it is equal to rho v integration dv. Now integration dv can be written as triple integration r square sin theta dr d theta d phi, where phi varies from 0 to 2 pi, theta varies from 0 to pi, and r varies from 0 to r. To simplify this entire integration, after simplification we will get this charge enclosed as rho v into 4 upon 3 pi r cube, and flux given out by that sphere, it is closed loop integration of d bar dot ds bar. So it is dr closed loop integration ds. Now closed loop integration ds can be written as double integration r square sin theta d theta d phi. So this ds can be written for r constant. So after simplification, this double integration answer is 4 pi r square. So total flux, it is equal to dr into 4 pi r square. Now from the Gauss law we can write psi, that is flux, equal to total charge q. So psi is equal to q. Now put these q value and psi value here. Simplify this for d. We will get after simplification d equal to r upon 3 rho v into ar bar. So this is the field density value for r in between 0 to a. Now for r greater than a, we can consider the total charge enclosed by that, it is volume integration rho v dv. So rho v integration dv. So after simplification we will get that triple integration r square sin theta dr d theta d phi. So we will get that answer as 4 by 3 pi a cube is multiplied by rho v. So this is the q enclosed, and total flux, it is equal to psi equal to closed loop integration d bar dot ds bar, it is equal to dr 4 pi r square. Now simplify this to get the answer of d after equating these two equations. Now in the next lecture we will see divergence theorem. Before that we will see point form of Gauss law, and we will solve some of the problems based on this Gauss law and divergence.